Hello everybody, this is VerticalSandwich. Alright, welcome to like a new thing that I've decided to do. This is a thing people have talked about, or at least I've talked about occasionally, and I know some people have expressed some sort of interest. So, this is book reviews. So, I looked at some formats for book reviews and tried to figure out a really good way to do this, and there were truly, for what I wanted to do, there weren't a lot of great examples kind of on YouTube, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna deal with some of the stuff that I'm reading right now, not the presidential biographies. I'm still reading presidential biographies, so not that. So here we are out in my backyard. This is my backyard. See, there's trees. I have trees. Anyway, there are trees, and that's my neighbor. This is my neighbors. They like to drive loud vehicles. So, I also have rabbits, and they're not afraid of me, and that scares me. Because rabbits should be afraid. They should be afraid. And the sun is in my eyes, and my left eye is, I'm legally blind in my left eye, so, if I have to close it, I have to close it. It doesn't dilate right, so, anyway. So I'm just like, argh. Anyway, the book we're going to talk about today is this. It's Redshirts by John Scalzi. Scalzi. And I'm going to read you the back cover blurb, and then there's a little piece I'm going to read you inside, and then we're just going to kind of talk about the book. So, they were expendable until they started comparing notes. Ensign Andrew Dahl had just been assigned to the Universal Union capital ship Intrepid, flagship of the Union since the year 2456. It's a prestige posting, and Andrew is thrilled to be assigned to the ship's xenobiology laboratory, with a chance to serve on away missions alongside the starship's famous senior officers. Life couldn't be better until Andrew begins to realize that 1. Every away mission involves some kind of lethal confrontation with alien forces. 2. The ship's captain, its chief science officer, and the handsome Lieutenant Kerensky always survive these confrontations. And 3. Sadly, at least one low-ranking crew member is invariably killed. Unsurprisingly, the crew below decks avoid away missions at all costs. Then Andrew stumbles on information that completely transforms his and his colleagues' understanding of what the Starship Intrepid really is, and offers them a crazy, high-risk chance to save their own lives. So, this is a comedy about the extra actors in Star Trek-type science fiction, and how they always die and important characters do not. That's what this is about. So, we're going to read a little excerpt, which copyright law assures me I'm allowed to do for the purpose of critiquing. So we're going to, by the way, if something flies into the, there's butterflies and stuff out here. There are also birds, and again, rabbits that aren't afraid of me that creep me out. But, I mean, they really get close. Like, it's like they're curious about me, and I'm like a big scary thing that could eat them, and they just don't care. They're just like, they own my yard. So, here we go. In a flash, as he gazed upon the needle-sharp teeth spasming in the rather evolutionarily suspect rotating jaw of the landworm, Ensign Tom Davis saw the future. None of this was really about the mysterious disappearance of the Bergovians. After this moment, no one would ever speak of the Bergovians again. It was about him, or rather what his impending death would do to his father, now an admiral. Or even more to the point, what his death would do to the relationship between Admiral Davis and Captain Abernathy. Davis saw the scene in which Abernathy told Admiral Davis of his son's death, saw the shock turn to anger, saw the friendship between the two men dissolve. He saw the scene where the Universal Union MPs placed the captain under arrest for trumped-up charges of murder by negligence planted by the Admiral. He saw the court-martial and science officer Queen acting as Abernathy's counsel, dramatically breaking down the Admiral on the witness stand, getting him to admit that this was all about losing his son. Davis saw his father dramatically reach out and ask forgiveness from the man he had falsely accused and had arrested, and saw Captain Abernathy given a heartrending reconciliation right there in the courtroom. Davis saw his father dramatically reach out and ask forgiveness from the man he had falsely accused and had arrested, and saw Captain Abernathy give it in a heartrending reconciliation right there in the courtroom. It was a great story. It was great drama. And it all rested upon him, and this moment, and this fate, this destiny of Ensign Davis. Ensign Davis thought, "Screw this, I want to live," and swerved to avoid the landworms. But he tripped, and one of the landworms ate his face, and he died anyway. So, clearly, this is a comedy, and can be a rather slapsticky comedy at that. But, those things aside, it's a clever comedy. It's a very intelligently written kind of send up of cheap serial sci-fi. It's specifically Star Trek is specifically mentioned in this book, although this is not about the USS Enterprise. This is not. It's not good. It's not a glazed over like wink wink nudge nudge. You get what the references are type of thing. This is a little different, but it is funny. And now I will say one thing about this. This book is about 300 pages long. The first 200 pages are the plot of the book. The last 100 pages are three sections called Codas, and they're in. One of them is in third person, one of them is in second person, and one of them is in first person. Wait, first, second, third. And what these do is they, in detail, go through the aftermath of how these events affected characters in the book, and they're gut wrenching. And one of the things about good comedy, like really good comedy, because kind of anybody can come up with. I mean, not anybody, but kind of fart joke comedy is a dime a dozen, right? But a genius comedian touches a really dark place in human nature, like really finds the tragedy in the human condition and kind of holds it up and makes you laugh, or at least makes you feel better about the fact that we all share universal kind of sadnesses. And this is done masterfully in this book. This book does that incredibly well. And there's something amazing to be said about this. This won the Hugo Award for Best Novel in 2013. So it's not a very old book. It's less than 10 years old. I mean, I'm making this 2019. They haven't announced the winner for this year yet. So that it's an important thing for a comedian to be able to do. It's like the best of comedians or comedy writers. One second. The best of comedy writers take us to a sad place along with a happy place. And Scalzi has mastered that. So don't just read the 200 pages and go, the story's over, there's some extra stuff like an appendix or something. No, this is important stuff and you need to read it because it really makes this. In fact, at the end of the 200 pages, I was kind of like, well, it was okay. But then after reading the Codas, I was like, oh, this guy's just a genius. So yeah, this is a very lighthearted read. It took me, I read this in 2 days. So my amount of time I devote to reading is probably a little above average, and the amount of time I've had off from my job lately has been way above average. So yeah, I really appreciated this book, and I really thought it was worth reading. And I think, you know, if what you're in for is kind of a touching, incredibly well-crafted comedy with some emotional content, well, this is the thing right here. This is the thing to do. So I would suggest this book. It is. I've decided my catchphrase for this is going to be it's available wherever fine books are sold. But that's not my catchphrase. I stole it from somewhere. It's actually. I mean, where do you get books now, right? Like I ordered this off Amazon. So if you order this off Amazon, you'll get a book. You'll get a book just like this. You won't get this one. This one's mine. So I'm not going to send you this. But you know, you'll get a copy that could be identical. There may be other editions that look different. They probably have clever graphics on the front. I don't know. I don't know. I bought this one and I read it. It was great. It was a great book. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah. This is what I would suggest. This is how a book review looks to me. So, yeah. So that's the first of our Hugo Award winner book reviews. And I'm going to try to put up one of these every week, but we'll see how it goes. If I'm going to have to film them all outside because the lighting in my house is horrible, then that's really going to depend on the weather, isn't it, huh? So, yeah. Redshirts, fantastic novel. Check it out. Thank you for watching. Bye, everybody.